Danny, a man who spent 40 years in prison for murder and who has been released only for 7 months now, and is homeless. After so much time locked up, can someone come back out into a world that is completely different from when they first left it and actually stand a chance of making it? Only time will tell. But when your life has been plagued for so many years with violence and solitude, and that has been the only thing that you've known for so long, would you even want to make it? Would you want to be out here, free? Or would life be easier in a place that you've already known for so long, back in prison? To understand this, we must understand Danny and what he's been through. But first, we must understand where he's been. Starting back in 1977, when Danny first went to prison, a place called Cedar Junction, formerly known as MCI Walpole in Massachusetts, a security level 6, a place that is no stranger to violence and was once considered one of the most violent prisons in the U.S.
My name is Danny, also known as Beast, my nickname in prison. I served a total of 40 years, a combination between 2 sentences, federal and state. The first one begins with the state prison, Walpole State Prison. I served 24 years out of a sentence, 31 to 35 years for armed assault with intent to murder, assault and battery with a dangerous weapon, and assault and battery. The second one was charged for a shooting. The state dropped it, but the feds came in and got me. And I served 16 years on that. My first prison sentence began in 1977. It was Walpole State Prison. It was a very, very notorious place. It's probably one of the #1 most dangerous places in the country. I was a kid. I was serving time simply for someone who hurt my family, and I served 24 years there. It's a level 6 Supermax. While I was there, I served 10 years straight in segregation out of that 24 years. Reason why? Well, it's a violent place, so you become a product of that institution, and that's just the way of life there. I was released to population to a whole different era, whole different generation. I couldn't even use some of the stuff even radios that they sold, I couldn't even use it. I didn't even know nothing about it. It was very difficult. It was a new age. It's like I went back in time. Well, while I was there was many racial riots. There was many riots between the staff and prisoners. A lot of it was conditions. The food was bad. There was a lot of protests. This place was so violent that there was people getting killed every day, not just one, but multiple people every day. This was like, it was like an everyday thing. When I first got in Walpole in 1977, we went through booking. I got sentenced from the court, from the Superior Court. And when I got in booking, they gave me my bedroll, they gave me certain items. But the one particular item they gave me that was very strange was a knife. It was a double-edged, they call it shank knife. The police gave me this, and I refused to take it because I thought it would set me up. And what the police told me was this. I shouldn't really call him police, but correctional officer. He told me this. He says, the only way you're going to survive in Walpole State Prison, do you know who we are? I says, I've heard. He says, before you walk in through them doors, you're going to sense something that is going to be stronger. You're going to smell the odor of death. Take that knife, put it on you, and that's the only thing you got to save your life. I still refuse. But I had some family doing time there, so they came out and coached me because I didn't know that type of style of life with all that violence. So yeah, I ended up taking my knife and I walked through and they placed me into a unit. And the minute I walked in, that's the first thing I did. I smelled death. I got goose pimples. I mean, my hair stood up. It was a smell that I've never smelled before, but it's fear. When they say death, it was a smell of fear, and you can smell it. You can smell the tension, the evilness, the aura. I mean, it was just like something evil, like if somebody being possessed. Honestly, I was scared. I was a boy. I just came from the military. I was scared. 2 hours, I said 2 hours within reaching the unit, it was a lockdown. Somebody ended up getting stabbed in the corridor and he was dead immediately. But I learned later on there was probably about another 7, 8 stabbings prior to me getting there at that time. I went to my uncle and I said to him, "Is this real? Or is this, what's going on here? Is this real?" He says, "Yeah." He taught me a lot while I was there. But I tell you what, I would never wish that, not even on an enemy, to live a life in there for 24 years on a Supermax level 6. This happened every day. Sometimes it would be just racial riots jumping off. Everything is locked down. We get locked down for like 3 or 4 months. They come, they feed us at a cell. Showers, they do it one by one. They give you like, I think it's 5 minutes. Showers, if you don't want to come out the showers, they got the goon squad. Goon squad is a bunch of guys, extraction team. They're the ones who use force, excessive force, to get you out of the shower. They come geared up with weapons and everything, and dogs. It was that type of lifestyle, and that's just the way it went every day. I don't think that maybe once a week, probably once a week, it's probably maybe one day out of a week that there wasn't an issue going on. But every day the place was locked down. If it wasn't locked down for 2, 3, 4 hours, they lock it down for months at a time. I think the longest lockdown that I went through probably 6 months. 6 months of lockdown, and that was because the officer got killed. He got stabbed. He disrespected a prisoner, and so I guess that's what happened. And that's what is normal. That's normal way of life there. When you live that type of life for the life that I live it, you become a product of that life. And it's really hard. It's really hard on the soul to make any changes. You know, you need people to help you. You need people. You need that love, because you forget all about that. There's no love in there. There's no feelings. There's nothing. All it is numbness. It's just the way of life in there. It is. Even the officers, they're cold, because to live in that environment, their job, they have to just be just as cold as the prisoners. Walpole State Prison, I can never forget that. You know, that's like a memory, an evil memory in my mind that I can never let go. As much as I try to forget it all these years, I just can't. 24 years in that. 24 years. That's a long time. Oh, by the way, the segregation, they placed me 10 block, was the block that they used for death row. And when I served my 10 years in 10 block, my cell was right next to the electric chair cell. That's where they strap up people and execute them. And you know what's crazy is that unit, I can feel the spirits of the dead. They still walk around. You can hear them hollering, screaming at night. You wake up. You can feel things touching you, pulling your legs. I'm not a spiritualist, but I believe in spirits, because after that block, and not only that, people get possessed. Somehow people just go nuts and start ripping. I mean, it happened to me from all the anger and being down there isolated, because you don't see nobody. You come out in dog cages. They're like dog kennels. You come out. And then they put a screen so that you can't see the guy next to him. And if they take you out of there, they completely shackle you 3-point style. I mean, they shackle you and cuff you. And if you have a habit of spitting or something, they put a mask on your face. Sometimes they put a mask on your face because they don't want you to know, they don't want you to know the area of the units. They want to keep you in the dark so you don't know where you're at. Yeah, it's like a temporary sensory deprivation. And so they don't want you to get used to where you at, So when they dislocate you like that mentally, it affects your mind. It really does. It does a lot of mental damage. And they don't even care about the segregation. The counselors, what they do is just to give you a bunch of drugs. And a lot of people sleep their time off, but that doesn't even help. That's Walpole. That's Walpole State Prison. There were situations that I ran into in there that I could not avoid. One thing about that, if you let somebody do something to you, everybody's gonna do it to you. So you have to make a stand. Whether, even if you're a nice guy, there's no such thing as nice guys in there, but guys do go in there that never lived that life and they just become monsters because of the environment. There was a time where I had went downstairs from the 3rd tier and a group of people, or a gang member, leader, sent one of his gophers, a wannabe gang member, I won't mention their name, to steal my headphones because I had the best headphones in the unit. And so he took it. So somebody came to me and told me, hey, listen, this guy took your shit. Excuse my name, took your headphones. And so I turned around and went to the dude. I said, you know, I'm going to ask you once. I said, give me back my headphones. He didn't. Because he didn't, and I already knew the connection, I had to set a principle and I just had to send a message. So I was forced to do what I did. And I took him and stabbed him in his chest and got my headphones back and went to see the gang member leader. And he paid me compensation back because I had a group of people. I mean, I was connected and I took care of business. I got my respect. Nobody stole my stuff again. But these are situations that you run into because you got fools doing stuff like that to you, or people send them to you because they're afraid of you. There was another time where I was walking down the corridor and I felt a hand come around my neck and like a chokehold, and that's what they would put me into, a chokehold, a sleeper. I didn't know who it was, and because of where I was at and the way of life there, I dropped to my knees, rolled over, and flipped them over, and I ended up stabbing them. Over there, you don't ask no questions. You just react. You have to. You don't have time to think. You just react. And I tell you what, that's what really saved my life a lot. It saves some of the people's life was when they react. There's no time. There's no talking. There's no agreements. There's no negotiation. When something happens, you must react because your life depends on it. And it happens in a second. I was one of the lucky guys, if that's what you consider it, lucky, because to become a product of that type of environment, that's why they call me the Beast, because I survive. And unfortunately, some people, in fact, it still bothers me because I have memories of some guys that I end up liking them because I'm not really sociable, but I like them for the fact is that they came in there humble, they came in there innocent, they committed a crime for whatever reason, even if it was a small one. But what happens, they took the drug dealers, or let's just say drug guys, who are non-violent, and put them in a violent environment, and they could not adapt. A lot of things happened to them. I mean, I'm talking about abuse of all different types, including deaths. They died. And it's sad, and I seen this every day, and this is what made me a product of the environment, because watching these guys, sometimes, I tell you the truth, and I'm gonna admit this, there was a few occasions that I cried on situation, well, not cry, but tears came out of my eyes, because I said to them, listen, you don't belong here. Get out of here, call your family. Have somebody help you get out of it. You don't belong in this environment. You belong in a lower security. This is a level 6. It's the highest security there is. I'm talking about it's top notch. You got officers walking around on the catwalk with sawed-off shotguns, all types of automatic weapons, pointing right at the cells. This is not a kiddie camp. You're talking about some serious stuff. And when I see their nature and their character, they're not built for that. And it bothered me. it did bother me and it angered me at the same time, but it also made me worse in a sense to survive in there. Because, you know, here are guys and they use them, they use their money, they take their money, they take everything they got, they suck everything from whatever sources they got, they suck it from them. And then when they're done with them, they dispose of them like garbage. That's the way life was in there from 77 to 2001. There was a situation one time, a guy came in, he was a tattoo artist and he knew how to tat. So some guys came in and they found out. They went to him and they said, listen, this is what we want you to do. The guy says, I don't want to tat. He said, you don't have a choice to tat. Either you're going to tat or you're not going to rap out. We can make life easier for you. We got you. You know, you paying us rent. And so the guy, of course, you know, being afraid, he did it. They did everything they did. They drew everything from the tattoo. And pretty much he was doing, even washing clothes, washing their clothes, washing their sneakers, washing socks, underwears. He became like a housewife. So I won't go no further with that, but I'll let you use your imagination what else happened to him. I seen things like this. I wanted to interfere, but we have rules. You got different groups. So if I'm in this group, and this man in this group, I'm not allowed to go over here and help him, even though I want to, because I like him and we have a friendship. So we develop a friendship, so I cannot go over here from over there, because if I do, I violate that, then I'm gonna get my group involved. And then I gotta deal with my group, and they can possibly stab me to death. And that's just how it rolls. And so everything is designed in a way that it's just hard to function. You cannot really make your own decisions there. You can't, until you become a person of status. Eventually, I became a person of status at Walpole, but I earned it. I had no choice. So it brought the beast out of me. That's why they call me Beast. But it brought the beast out of me, and because of that name, I'm known. I'm known, and but it wasn't by choice. This is what I want you to know. It was by design of the environment. I try to do positive things. For example, educate myself. I took college, I think about 2.5 years. I spent a lot of time in the law library. I played a lot of basketball. My sport was basketball. I made the #1 team all the time. I was point guard. I was the #1 point guard because I'm short, fast, and I'm a left hand. I did try to do the best I can for positive means, just to alleviate some of this negative stuff that was going on, but it was still tough, because even when you do the positive stuff, the negative stuff was still around you. It was really hard to block things out, but it's just a way of survival. And it's probably why I became so disciplined mentally. And it's probably why I learned to focus even better. But it's called hard school. It's just a hard way of learning. Unfortunately, I had to learn there. I became from a boy to a man there. Unfortunately, it's not the way normal people do it, but that's just the way it was at the time. In front here, it says Death Dealer. You want me to tell you a story? I'll tell you a story about it. Death Dealer is, you remember the movie The Underworld, where the female, that's her nickname, Death Dealer. She killed the wolves. She was a vampire, and she was designed to kill. She was programmed to kill. And so that's the reason why Death Dealer is on my forehead. I guess maybe for that notion. On top of that, I got the Son of War. And the reason for that is because even though I'm not super religious, I believe in religion. And I believe that I'm the Son of War. Daniel is the name of the angel, the archangel. He was designed to lead God's troop with Michael. And he was named as the Son of War. Daniel in Hebrew, ancient Hebrew, which I studied, means the Son of War. No one can judge him except God. So I always believed that if I took justice in my own hand, it was for the righteous reasons. This is what I believe, but honestly, it was done for the good reasons. Perhaps why I got so much time, because I took judgment in my own hand without calling the police. Getting back to that, I have the Son of War. I have 2 battle axe on a real large ones with blood dripping, and I got God's name in ancient languages in Aramaic, which is another language I speak. Aramaic is a language that derives from Hebrew and Arabic together. On the side, I have a winged lion, represents fire. That is one of the animals, or the holy beast, because that's what I got on my neck, the holy beast. It represents the ark. It's the covenant of the ark of God. It represents power. Those are the beasts that sat next to his throne in the book of Revelation. Over here I have a griffin, which is with winged griffin. It has the body of a lion. It has the wings spread, as I just did, and it has a face of an eagle, the front claws of an eagle, and the body of a lion, and that represents ear. That's another holy beast. So I have it here. I have actually the 4 holy beasts tattooed on my head. In the back I got a death skull, which represents earth, represents death. The angel of death, as you heard, is in Revelation. And then of course the horns. I got the horns, and the face of a man represents water. That's another symbol. So not only do I have religious tattoos, but it looks wild so people don't understand because they don't know symbol. Because usually Egyptians, that's what they do by hieroglyphics. In my eyes here, I got death homicide. That's a long story, but I'll try to give you a little idea. Those are the people that I represented back in the days when I was young. I did do tattoos of blood dripping in my eyes, and that was really done not because I was a gang member, but because it shows the blood, sweat, and tears that I suffered through life. And I just wanted to represent that to people so that they see that. Whether they got that same message that I was trying to perceive, maybe not. But to me, it meant that I suffered. It's not just the pain that I went through, but also the pain that I put people through. And it's very important that I get that together, because not only do I suffer the pain, but I also put people through pain. And I regret that. That part I do regret. The second part I do. This is I got a dragon here, and I got a dragon here, and it represents the beast. And on my back, of course, I got my old patch. I'm not going to mention their names. On my neck, I got the Puerto Rican flag with the machete, represents machetero from Puerto Rico. I got a Glock here. The name of this one is Deathbringer. And this one is, this other Glock that I have here is called Deathbringer. Well, this Deathbringer, this is Deathgiver. And then on my back, of course, as you see, it's called the Holy Beast. That's my nickname. And I got that name because of knowledge and of power and rank.
What does it say across the chest?
Oh, that's a good one. It's called Doc Regulator. That's the name that they give the enforcer to take care of business. I deal with everything that's dark and evil and unjust. So that's what it's called. And then the names up here, of course, are my grandchildren.
With these tattoos that you have, do you regret any of these tattoos?
No, because I earned them. I've earned them. I don't regret them. They're with me. They do affect me. They affect me on profiling, on jobs, apartments. Even saying hi to somebody, they walk away. But it's okay. I'm used to it. I don't mind. But I did it based because at the time, in my environment in Walpole, and doing federal time, you see what I'm saying? I believe that these things that I have on me, they were a part of me, they were a piece of me because I earned them, because of that product that I became of the system. If I wasn't a product of that system, there's a good possibility I won't even have any tattoos. I seen kids go in there with nothing and come out completely body-wise with tattoos because they do years in there. And you have to adjust and go by the rules. That type of environment, there's rules you gotta follow. Rules that you don't like and nobody else like, but you gotta follow them. It's a code. And if you don't follow them, you don't jump on the train, then guess what? You're gonna miss the train and you're gonna get on another train where you're gonna get abuse. And that's what they do. The tattoos on my arm, which is knives, you can see them? These are knives. Now, I'm not gonna really get into it and explain what I really wanna say because I don't wanna give the viewers a misconception. But these knives here is a symbol of how I survive, of what I needed to survive in prison. The knives. And I use them very well. I had no choice. I had to train. It's like when you go into a boxing match and you're professional or amateur. By the way, I was amateur. I was a silver medal 4-time champion, Taekwondo, Shotokan, Kung Fu, street fighter. I did it all, but that's just the way I had to survive. Some of the tactics that I learned on the street helped me survive in prison, especially in Walpole, and it helped me. And I don't regret going to school when I was on the street for Taekwondo, Shotokan, or even boxing for silver medal and golden glove. Why? Because I tell you what, that's what saved my butt in there. Along with the knife that I got from the correctional officer. So that's just the way of life.